Hi people, Marina Ravenberg here again as always and as usual. As you can tell from the header of this video, this is going to be a in between brackets potential explanation, an occult explanation on the Bermuda Triangle. I don't have a video on that as far as I know. I might have mentioned it throughout one of my live streams in the past, but I'm not sure. So I simply thought to record a short video about this subject as a separate video itself. Okay, provided that what I said earlier is true and that I have brought this subject up before miscellaneously. In any case, yeah, let me just dive right in. Okay. Like I said, before I get to the occult explanation, the potential occult explanation, then I need to state that it is possible that obviously that there's a rational explanation behind all the disappearances and all the oddities that the Bermuda Triangle is infamous for. Um, Electronic appliances malfunctioning from vehicles and aircrafts, etc., etc., etc. I mean, naval vessels. I mean, not vehicles. Sorry. So yeah, all the things that people know the Bermuda Triangle for, all the quote unquote spooky stuff, etc., etc., all the so-called paranormal things. There could be a rational explanation for this off the top of my head. It could be a weather anomaly. It could be a sinkhole, etc., etc. Again, I'm just spitballing here. These are just random things that I'm throwing out there. My point is there could be a rational explanation for this. But provided that that's not the case, then that's where the header of my article comes in. And this is more occult science, if you will, based on the stories, the numerous stories I have heard about the Bermuda Triangle, about people disappearing and everything, and some survivors making it out, etc., after experiencing something like that, something that was really weird and was off, and something that was unexplainable to them as well as anyone they asked about. Okay, any academic individuals they asked about, like professors and people that are supposed to be knowledgeable on said subject or at least have an indication. Um, all the stories I've heard, provided that these stories are credible, which they do seem, or which does seem to be the case, then the conclusion that I would draw, honestly, is that the Bermuda Triangle contains wormholes. I think scientifically it's called dark energy, but it's only a theory. In any case, I'm going with the phrase wormhole or black hole. Long story short, for me, based on everything that I've seen and heard, is that the Bermuda Triangle simply, when those situations occur, these people come into contact with wormholes or black holes that automatically nullify time and space. And as a result and a consequence, these people either get transported to a different dimension, to a different point in time, or to a different point in the cosmos altogether, or a combination of all three. And that explains their disappearances. That explains why they not even a wreckage can be found. Nothing. It's like they vanished off of the face of the earth. Because yeah, if I'm correct, then yeah, that's literally the case. Yeah, wait until the end of this video and you'll see at the end screen you'll see two interesting videos. If you're not knowledgeable about this subject, you'll see two videos appear at the end screen, which you're more than welcome to view if you haven't seen them already, even. And if you're knowledgeable on the subject, even, and if you haven't seen them, then yeah, by all means go ahead if you want to. Okay, those are just two examples, okay, about the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, and that's the only explanation, honestly. One of the stories, long story short, is about a pilot, for example, that flies. He had to make a trip that was supposed to last an hour and a half. He was supposed to fly from a specific Caribbean island, if I recall correctly, to Miami. And he flew into a specific cloud or something that appeared to be a cloud, and everything became dark around him. All the gadgets in his aircraft started malfunctioning. He flew one of those small planes, those cargo planes, if you will, etc. His compass started going haywire, etc., and he saw nothing but electrical discharge in the cloud itself. And all of a sudden, he noticed that where there was an opening that he was flying towards, it started closing. And when he came out of that cloud, everything felt light. The entire aircraft felt weightless, etc. And he noticed that he was already in Miami's airspace. So he was already at his destination or nearing his destination, and it was only half of the time, the allotted time frame. So 45 minutes instead of the full 90 minutes. And yeah, that serves as another example essentially. If someone asks me, for example, hey, what do you think about that? What do you think happened to him? I would openly tell the person based on everything, provided that the story is credible. I would simply say the guy flew into a wormhole or a black hole that either masquerades as a cloud or appears as a cloud, or the other way around, a cloud that had a wormhole in it by sheer coincidence. It's simply a matter of, hypothetically speaking, the pilot being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and the pilot essentially was lucky that he flew through that opening in time. Otherwise, the same thing might have happened, or most likely would have happened, as happened with all the other disappeared people. He would, quote unquote, vanish off the face of the earth, or it would at least seem that way. But since he made it out, he was simply back in our dimension, our time, and our location, essentially, as in planet Earth. but yeah, it's just but nah, instead of that, it simply warped him through time. Okay, instead of time and space and dimension, etc., it simply warped him through time, and that's why it only took 45 minutes instead of the full 90 minutes. That's off the top of my head. That's what my explanation would be, and that's also what explains all the other anomalies that accompany that situation, as in the electrical discharge in it, the weightlessness right after exiting, the all the electrical equipment going haywire. Everything makes sense. I also do need to point out in one of the videos, the narrator says that appearances are no different in terms of statistical data than anywhere else in the world, and that does make sense, because the Bermuda Triangle, despite the fact that I'm discussing it, is not really exceptional. It's only exceptional in terms of being so notorious, as in having notoriety attached to its name. But in general, nah. Okay, these same holes that I'm referring to, these wormholes or black holes or dark energy openings that are free from time and space, etc., that automatically nullify time and space. You'll find them everywhere. They pop up throughout the entire cosmos, solar system, you name it, and at any random moment. So again, it's all up to you. If you come into contact with something like that and things turn out for the worse, then yeah, you were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, depending on what happens. Okay, if you do make it out, then it's definitely a mind-altering experience, if you're unaware of any of this. But for me, honestly, even if something like that happened to me, I really wouldn't blink twice, because I know what happened, and I can make a general accurate assumption and or conclusion based on all the so-called evidence that has been thrown into my face, not handed to me, thrown into my face. And yeah, that's essentially it. There is nothing else that comes to mind, honestly, for me, and nothing else to explain. I almost also want to say as a last option, aliens, but that's highly unlikely. But yeah, extraterrestrials are also an option. But other than that, I have nothing to say on that option. Like I said, it's highly unlikely, honestly, based on everything, based on all the aforementioned information that both me and you, listener, are presented with. So yeah, that's essentially it, just a wormhole, a black hole that nullifies time and space. And the non-survivors, the people that simply disappeared, were simply unlucky. They were most likely transported to a different either space in time, to a different place in the cosmos, or a different dimension, or a combination of all three. So yeah, there's no chance of them coming home unless they happen to find another wormhole that transports them exactly in the same year, or in the same planet, or in the same dimension, as in our year, time, and dimension, or just plain time, dimension, and space frame, if you will. So yeah, that is all. See you guys later. Bye.